back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-122a. It's a Tier 5 Soviet SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Murovanka and it's under the command of Deathnub. Now you may have seen a video I put up a couple of weeks back actually, featuring two SU-122 games by Deathnub, and I meant to put this one up shortly afterwards, but I got kind of sidetracked by other replays, and well, I've now got around to doing this one, and this is 3 replays featuring the SU-122a. He's got 2 marks of excellence on the barrel, which is kind of unusual because a lot of players don't really bother with the SU-122a. They see it as a sort of like stepping stone to moving further up to the SU-8 and the other higher tier Soviet Arty. This one didn't actually exist because of course it was actually the SU-122 that was actually built, and that looks more like a tank destroyer than it does an Arty, but it was an actual SPG, a self-propelled gun. Just saw the tracer for one of the enemy Arty in the distance. They've got a BP and a Bishop. Oh, good hit on the box tank. 167. He picked up some stun assist off that one as well. Now this is a 152mm howitzer. It's capable of doing 550 alpha and will penetrate 38mm of armor. It's got a burst radius of just under 7 meters, 6.7. Unfortunately though, it doesn't produce a lot of stun. It's only very brief stun, and so yes, if you get stun assist you're lucky. It's mainly because you're firing at enemies that your teammates will actually see and they can do something about it. Now it has got a fairly long reload. By the book it's 30.30 seconds. Yeah, it's a long one, but you can see Deathnub's got it down to 25.53 and he's trying to get a shot on that VK3601H, but he's not being very cooperative. Tier 6 game, Tier 5 tanks in it, and he just knocked the tree over. Oh yes, he got some splash. 32 hit points of splash from that one, and he stunned him, and he got the stun assist as well. Very well done. Now as I say, most people ignore the SU-122a for several very good reasons. You've only got a 15-degree arc, that's 7.5 degrees either side of the centre line, and that makes it very difficult to aim without getting rescue bloom. More damage on the KV-1. Yes, because you move the thing slightly outside that 15 degrees or 7.5 degrees and you end up having a rescue bloom, and it takes a while to dial back in again. It also doesn't have a whole lot of ammunition. You only get 18 rounds in total. And that's after they did the increase. It used to be 12 rounds. So you had to pick your targets very well in order to get some serious damage. But now it's a little easier. He's line firing in there. I think he probably did wound one of them or splash one of them. And we're 1 up on the enemy at the moment, but those guys are south of the Magic Forest. Although we do have a heavy tank further south than them, he might only be able to give us a small amount of warning before he gets mobbed. Our team are moving up the west side of the map at the moment. Oh, there's a Striv 74 in the field in the centre, but Deathnub's more interested in these guys because they're getting close to our T1 Heavy, who's firing into them with his 75mm. 76mm, sorry. Okay, T-34. Oh! Yeah, that's what happens, you see. People, you take forever to aim, and they move outside the reticule just before you fire, and you either waste a shot or you fire anyway and hope that you'll get some splash. Oh, the enemy's not having much luck because they've just lost another tank, a T1 Heavy, and we're going for the other T1 Heavy, aiming ahead of him. Almost loaded. Fires blind. That's a pretty good guess. That's where I would have put it. We lost our T1 Heavy, by the way. So we're only 2 up on the enemy at the moment, but we seem to be getting closer and closer to the enemy cap area. Okay, IKV-65-2. Deathnub's going to have to keep his eye on what's happening to the east of him, because the enemy tanks might be coming up on him from there. In the meantime, he's going to try and have a go at that IKV. No, that's not going to work. It does have a decent range, this Arty, because it can fire over the entire map. It also has the highest tier 5 damage now in the game. It used to be that it would share the damage with the M44, who also had 550 alpha, but of course Wargaming nerfed the M44 very specifically. That was a direct hit on the Type T34. So he's more than likely got some serious damage there. Now it does have decent engine powertrain, but it's only got a 30 kilometers an hour maximum speed, not very fast. He's trying to get a shot there on the Bishop, who's backing up, lining him up. Oh, and our teammate's a little quicker than we are. Now the other enemy Arty's coming to sight, but he's leaving it for our teammates to go for. He's more concerned about this BDR. He's not fully dialed in, but he's going to try and have a go. Rounds out. Yes, he gets a hit for 204. A decent hit at that. We've lost. Okay, the enemy's lost their Arty at the other end. We've lost a Striv 74, taken out by their Arty. So now we have control of their cap area. Now they've only got 2 tanks left. That Type T34 that we hit earlier and the T1 heavy tank, who supposedly should be headed towards our cap. And there he is. He is in sight now. He's coming this way. And it was the Hellcat who spotted him. Deathnub's going to try and have a go if he can. He's letting it dial in. It takes forever to dial in. Almost ready. Rounds out. Oh, he got his kill. That's his first kill of the game. And he takes out the T1 Heavy with a direct hit right to the front of his face. And there's only one enemy left. That's the Type T34, the one he got a direct hit on earlier. And it looks to me like he didn't get a whole lot of damage when he did that, but the Type's gone, and that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Deathnub in the SU-122a. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 9. And he managed to get a win rate of 2010, which is pretty good. Very good, actually. But no other medals from this one. Let's have a look and see why. Team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. I'm afraid the highest damage actually went to the Excalibur, who got the high caliber for 2,267 hit points. The second highest damage in the game went to the IKV-65-2, 1,397, and the third highest damage in the game actually went to their enemy Fifi with 1,280 hit points. And we can see that Deathnub only managed to get 879 from the game, but at least he did pick up, was that him? No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. There you go. There's Deathnub. 800 hit points. Sorry, not 879. I was thinking it was the Striv. The Striv did get a Confederate. But Deathnub got 800 hit points out of the battle. Not a huge amount. Let's have a look at the number of kills. 4 kills went to the Excalibur, the KV-1. 2 kills to the Porlac, the T1 Heavy, the IKV-65-2, and the Type T34. I'm afraid Deathnub only got the 1 kill from the game. And when it came to base XP, well, he's a little higher on the table now. He's 4th from the top because the Porlac managed 1,034, the Excalibur 993, the KV-1 907, and then we've got Deathnub with 612. 11 shots fired, 4 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations at all, and 8 splash. Damage of 800 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 6 of the enemy, killed 1, so he narrowly missed out on getting a Confederate anyway, mainly by the fact that he actually killed that T1 Heavy at the end of the game. 110 hit points of damage assistance, and 474 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns. He earned 27,858 credits from the game, but after ammunition resupply and consumables and the consumables actually hurt him here, because he ended up with a loss of 1,052 credits. So yeah, it's only a small loss, it's negligible. And 918 base XP, and there was no multiplier, so that's all the experience points he came away with. In fact, that's not base XP, but it's, you know what I mean. Anyway, so not a bad game for Deathnub with his first one. He managed to get an ace tanker. Now let's have a look at the armor. As I say, this is basically an SU-76 that's been modified to carry a 152mm howitzer. So it's basically the same. 25mm at the front, heavily angled, which means that, yes, it does get that extra effective armor. So 25mm becomes 42mm, you can see there. 52 as you get closer to the top. The lower plate, 30mm, but you're only getting an effective 38 because it's only angled slightly. Of course, anywhere you hit on this tank with a standard 75mm round, it should go straight through. You can see the sides of the vehicle are only 15mm, so it's just there to stop machine gun shells, bullets and splinters from hurting the crew. The gun shield at the back, 10mm thick, it's a centimetre, it's nothing really. And the back of the vehicle's 10, and there's 10 again. So yes, not much armour. In fact, the only armour, so to speak, is around the front of the vehicle, and you can just make it out there. There's the hatch for the driver. And yes, and really he's got the most awkward position in the entire vehicle, and you'll see why when we have a look at modules. Okay, here we are. We've got the driver right in the front. You can just about make out that triangular hatch which he looks through. Now when the thing's driving along in winter, that hatch is up. You've got a cold blizzard blast, like you're going into a freezer, blasting you in the face as you're driving along. But the one good thing is you've got an engine on one side of you. On your right hand side you've got an engine, on the left hand side you're looking at it here. And of course that will keep him nice and warm, so to speak, so long as he's got fairly good clothing. Transmission's in front of him, which gives him an extra bit of protection against the enemy shells. But on the other side of him he's got the fuel tanks, so if a shell does come in through the front, it's going to penetrate through the, or could puncture the fuel tank and douse him in fuel, which means then he'd be set alight for the engine. Yeah, not so good. There's a further ammunition store behind the fuel tank, and that's the big store, the main store of ammunition. And I think there's a little tunnel, though you can't see it here. There's a tunnel between where the driver sits right up front that will lead him to the back where the rest of the crew are located. Here you can see they've got two ready racks, one on either side. We've got the loader sitting just behind the breech. We've got the gunner sitting on the left-hand side as you're looking at it here, on the right-hand side there. And the tank commander is over on the right there, as you're seeing. He's also operating the radio. So if you want to get an ammo rack, really, it hits anywhere towards the back of the vehicle, but on the actual body, not on the gun shield area. The gun shield will get you the easiest pen to knock off hit points, but if you aim just slightly below the gun shield, you're more likely going to get the ammo rack, and that could make the whole thing go bang very, very quickly. But it is an open-topped vehicle, so HE is preferred, because that will kill the crew much, much quicker indeed. So there you go. That's the SU-122a. So this was the first battle. Let's have a look at the second one. The second battle is on the south spawn of Tundra. Now, as I said before, it doesn't have a very high top speed. And yeah, the poor driver sitting right next door to a very, very noisy engine, which means he does get warm during the winter, but he also gets deafened by the engine's use. And he has to have the hatch open to see what he's driving, where he's driving. If he has that hatch down, there's very little he can see, because it's only a tiny little periscope we can just about make out in the front of the vehicle, and that's all he's got to look for through to see where they're going. And they could, of course, drive straight into something that they don't want to see. Of course, most SU-76Ms, this is, I mean, obviously I know this is an SU-122a, but most SU-76Ms were used as support vehicles. They weren't used for frontline shooting at the enemy. They were mostly used for artillery purpose, indirect fire from a long distance away with the 76mm gun. He's dialing in. It does take a long time to dial in on this Arty. Now he did stun the Skoda, and he's picking up some stun assist. Now you notice that he's also carrying 2 armor-piercing rounds in this game. And that's quite interesting, because you don't often see 152mm armor-piercing rounds being fired at the enemy from an Arty. Oh yes! Wiped out the Skoda, direct hit. Blind kill as well. Now you'd think actually if they were allowing a tiny little tier 5 Arty to carry 152mm armor piercing, then it would get a 750 alpha, because after all the 152mm on say the 704 is capable of doing that. And another direct hit, or was it? No, it landed right in front of the VK, but it stunned him and he's getting stun assist, and he's got all of that. Okay, go and get the Leopard. That long reload is a real pain in the butt. Is he still there? Is he? Grabs out. Yes, he is. He's still there. He took that one square on. Okay, we've got a Panzer IV Aslains H trying to get up onto our camp area, although he's being attacked by 2. And this is interesting. We've got an Excelsior and an M10 RBFM the other end of the bridge. And now he can make a real mess of them, because the Excelsior's got side armor that's very weak. He's dialing in, almost ready to go. Tight. Yes. Rounds out. Oh, nice hit. 239. He's persuaded that Excelsior to move back. In fact, he hit him on the engine deck. You saw there's a gigantic hole on the back. Now, that's just the way the mods worked. It's created a hole. It doesn't necessarily mean it was a penetration. I think it probably wasn't. But it's nice to see that he hit it somewhere very good. Somewhere it's got thin armor. This is a tier 5 game only. So he won't get a huge amount of XP from this one unless he gets a huge amount of damage. But he's doing as best he can. Stug dry Aslains G. Now, is he still there? Rounds out. Oh, he is, and he got a hit. 127. Stunned him, and there's the enemy Arty, a Gorilla. It looks like he's been hit, and he's been taken out of the game now. Now, I think that's the Excelsior he fired at only a short while ago. Although we can't see the hole in the engine deck, he is on fire, or was on fire, and now he's out of the game. There's only 2 enemies left. They've got an Arty, the AMX-13AM, and an AT2. And the AT2 is somewhere in this vicinity, because they don't move very quickly. There he is. But we can do some damage to him, because he is susceptible to HE, even though he's got loads of armor. Very good shot. He was trying to lead the target to get the get him tracked, and he is picking up damage assist with the stun assist. But I think our M10 RBFM is about to get some nasty fire into him. Well, the AT2 is now out the game, and that's it, because they killed the AMX-13AM. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was another ace tanker game for Deathnub in the SU-122a. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7 in this one, but yet again, no medal, even though he was doing a huge amount of damage. I think he missed out on a Confederate because he got that kill, the blind kill, on the Skoda T24. His win rate, 1,945, which again is very good indeed. Let's have a look at team score. Well, didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the Striv M42, who managed to get a Confederate and 1,605 hit points. If we tick on his name to see, did he get a Confederate? Oh, it's 7 and 0. So he would have missed out on it even if he had got another hit on one of the enemy tanks. He would needed 2 hits on 2 different enemy tanks in order to get that Confederate as well. So well done to the Shriv. 1,605 to him. 1,146 went to the Fifi, who also picked up a Brothers in Arms. And the next high score after that was the Panzer IV Ausführung H, who got 979. The AMX CLC got 881. And then we've got Deathnub with 775. So 5th place on damage. When it came to kills, it was the Fifi who did the best with 4 kills in that game. 3 kills went to the AMX CLC Biz, 2 kills to the Skoda, the Stug 3 and the Excelsior on the enemy team. And he was the only one who got kills on the enemy team. And I wonder, was he the same one that Deathnub actually hit during the game? Yes, it was. Funnily enough, he actually hit one of their best players during that game and wounded him. And then he took 274 hit points off our teammates. So when it came to base XP, well, it's the Fifi again. 728 goes to him. 712 went to the AMX CLC. 705 to the Striv. 700 went to the Panzer IV Ausführung H, and then we've got Deathnub with 619. So you can see you don't have to get much in the way of XP in order to, or base XP, in order to get an ace tanker in this Arty. And the reason for that, of course, is the fact that very few people actually play this. Once they've managed to work their way up to get the SU-8, they leave the SU-122a completely alone. And that means that the scores you need to get an ace are much, much lower. And so it's very much worthwhile if you want to mark one of your vehicles to do it on this one. In fact, this was the vehicle that I got my first mark of excellence on when I started the game. Okay, detail report. 7 shots fired, much less, only 3 less than the previous game. He got 3 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetration. Now I'm guessing the penetration was the Skoda that it went straight through. Yes, it did. Only 4 hit points left on the vehicle at that point, but it went right through and wiped him out. 6 splashes on the enemy as well. 775 hit points of damage, all of it done at more than 300 meters. Damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 1, and did 753 hit points of stun assist of 6 stuns. And I think that, combined with the other damage that he did, actually earned him the ace tanker. 30,233 credits for the battle, and after a resupply of ammunition and consumables, he made a profit this time of 4,563 credits. 928 XP and no multipliers, so that's all the experience points he took away. So the second battle is also an ace tanker. Let's have a look at the third battle. In the third replay, Deathnub is on the northeast spawn of Province. Game on. Well, there's plenty of hiding places on the Province map. You've got all these bushes here, and there's other bushes down in the valley, which can be very handy. So you don't have to be conventional and stick around in this area. You can go elsewhere. This one's a tier 7 battle, and he's tier 5 Arty, so he's bottom tier. And there's a lot more potential for him to earn XP from this game, because as you know, you earn 10% extra for every higher tier tank you hit if it's 1 tier above. So if you hit a tier 7 with a tier 5, you end up with 20% more XP, and that really makes a big difference at the end of the game. Rounds out. Oh, he hit something! Something's behind there. Somebody just got tapped, and they probably didn't like it, but, well, fair game. It is a well-known TD position. And there's probably somebody behind that bush as well. Just waiting for that reload to go in. Rounds out. Well, we got an explosion off that one, so probably wasn't somebody behind it. But you never know, somebody might have been wounded. Okay, the enemy have turned up on our side of the map, but our guys haven't really much progressed over the other side yet. We've only got a P43 Biz up on the far side. Now, there's probably somebody there, but I would actually go for the bush just the other side of the rock. There's nearly always somebody sitting on that side. And the shell went to the right here as well, which meant obviously probably missed. This is the bush where I think most of them tend to go, because you can get shots into the side of our tanks as they're making their way forward to this position. A couple of enemy tanks have turned up on the other side of the battlefield. It looks like it might have been the Nashorn that was actually on that corner at the time. Rounds out, blind firing. Well, it didn't appear that we got something, but we might have. Can't see the Nashorn now, but the Jagdpanther is missing some hit points, so it might have been him. If we can see the Nashorn, Jagdpanther's gone. And M6, no, he hasn't been touched. That nasty reticule bloom, it happens because it's a 7.5 degrees either side of the centre line. It's very easy to get a reticule bloom suddenly. Oh, he got a direct hit! Even though he aimed to one side of the M6, trying to get a splash on the side of the vehicle, he actually got a direct hit on his front. And now he spotted this Achilles, or rather, somebody on his team spotted the Achilles. I wonder if he's... Oh, no, he wants the M6. The Achilles has gone back into cover. So he's going to try and lay a shell down on that corner. Well, he stunned him. Now, if his teammates... Yes, he got that as well. So he got the stun assist. In the meantime, this OI Experimental has managed to get up onto the northeast corner. So we're going to try and stun him and maybe take him out. No. Didn't get the chance to take him out, but he got well and truly taught that you can't do that, not in that heavy tank. You're going to take too much damage. The OI Experimental is not a very strong tank, not compared to the OI, and oh dear, our Skoda just fell off the side of the cliff. And he's taken some fire for it as well. I think that might be that Achilles down there. And yes, our Skoda didn't last very long, got hit by the SU-122, and well, we put some round into him for 170, so at least we got some revenge there. Oh, we just spotted the tracer coming out of the bushes for one of the enemy Arty. They've got an M41. In fact, there is only one Arty on the enemy team, so we know where he is. Okay, trying to get that M10. Oh, he stopped. And the SU-152, he's trying to move back, but we can hit the M10. Rounds up. Oh, RNG was unkind there. That hit the building, rearranged the furniture. Can we get another shot? That is a very prime target to hit the M10 RBFM because it's so OP. Rounds out. This time round it went to the left, but he still managed to get some splash. 12 hit points. Now he's having a look in this corner because the T-28 HTC was seen up in this corner. Tier 7 American tank destroyer. We're one down on the enemy at the moment, but there's still everything to play for. Rounds out. Long flight time. Okay, the M10 RBFM's still there on that corner. Oh, that SU-152 is now coming to sight. We could hit him. The M10's gone. If he pulls back after his next shot, we might be able to get him. Oh, no, he's gone. And that means now that there's only the Nashorn who was last seen over this corner. And I don't think he's over here now. I think he might be hiding back in the bushes. Oh, no, there he is. And he is missing a huge amount of hit points. And he could be the tank that Deathnub hit. And he stunned him. I think that was the one he hit right at the start of the game. And if that's the case, then he's probably collected most of the hit points off that Nashorn, which is an open top vehicle, and it is a tier 6, which means he's a higher tier, which means extra XP. So the Nashorn's gone. It's only the T-28 HTC somewhere over this area. We could, of course, go for the enemy Arty. We know the general vicinity of him. There's the T-28. It's in sight. Oh, no, that's... done nothing. We're trying to get the Achilles over there. But the T-28 appeared for a moment and now he's disappeared again. He was just a little further to the left. That's it. Use the minimap. Put the little dot on the target. It's a little further back. Long flight time. No, I think that would have touched him. At the very least, that would have stunned him. And now it's 3 versus 2. Yes, we did lose a few there. We lost the Cromwell. But we've now got the enemy VK3002M, which now leaves the enemy with that T28 HDC and the M41 HMC. I'd be very inclined to say now's a good time for Deathnub to make his way down to the enemy cap and start capping whilst his teammates keep that guy pinned down. And that way he'll get the invader and they'll get a chance to nail the T28 if he comes out to try and get a reset. He's trying to support them by shooting from a distance. He's still got 5 rounds left. We know the general vicinity of where the M41 is. He's on that second rock in the bushes near the second rock in grid square J1. But we'll get a proximity spot from this T78 very shortly. He's getting very close. So we're dialed in. There he is. Let him have it. Rounds out. Oh, RNG is unkind. But now he's taking fire from the M6 with a 90mm gun. He'll punch through. And despite the fact that the T28's trying to get shots on the T78, he knows he's going to get 90mm rounds through him if he lets the T78 near him. He does kill the M6, but now he's facing the T78. Rounds out. Direct hit. 191. Makes him a one shot. He can't stand to get a shot from our T78 now. T78's got no armour though, that's the problem. If he takes a hit from that 105mm round and that 105mm gun, he's in trouble. Rounds out. Oh, he hit him, but he didn't. He only stunned him. And now the M41's trying to get in on the game as well. Now he's trying to cover that T28, but I'd go for the M41. Okay. Oh, this is going to be tight. Rounds out. Well, it actually hit the vehicle. That was an armor-piercing round because he's run out of HE. The T78 takes the kill on the M41. Can he get behind the T28 and stay behind him? He's trying to do his best. If he can get behind that guy, he's finished. And he does. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was not only an ace tanker from that game, Deathnub also got his 3rd mark of excellence. Very well done. Congratulations on your 3rd mark. He also managed to get a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this one. He managed to get 9, and he got a Confederate as well because he hit more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. Very nicely done. A win 8 of 2,400. Again, very good indeed. And that was an interesting game to say the least. Let's have a look at team score and see where he stood. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. Actually, that went to the P43 Biz on our team. Got 11 slaves on the high caliber for 3,259 hit points. So he was putting his 90mm gun to good effect. The second highest damage in the game went to that T28 HDC, who was sniping from the back for most of the game. He got 2,001 hit points of damage. And the third highest damage in the game went to the M6, who died with 1,695 hit points. The Deathnub managed to get 5th place on his team, but he was beaten by 3 members of the enemy team, so he was actually in 8th place overall. When it came to kills though, it was the P43 Biz again with 5 kills, 4 kills for the T78, 3 kills for the T28 HTC, and Deathnub didn't get any kills at all, but that actually helped him to secure the Confederate by the end of that game. And when it came to base XP, it's the P43 again, so he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,493 went to him, 1,145 went to the T78 who won the game, and 731 went to the M6. And we can see here that Deathnub wasn't that far behind, 682 out of that one, so he's very consistent on his XP. He fired 17 rounds in this game, much more ammunition. In fact, the last 2 rounds were armor piercing, and he had 1 round left, so if the T78 had failed to take out the T28, he was going to have to take on that T28 with an armor piercing round instead of a standard HE. 5 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations but 13 splash. Damage of 1,118 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 6 of the enemy, killed none, but did 323 hit points of stun assist of 14 stuns. He earned 31,679 credits from that game, and after ammunition, resupply and consumables, actually made a small loss of 2,200 and... is that 2,202? Yes, it is. 2,202 credits. 1,023 XP, and that's all the experience points he took away. Now, did he hit that Nashorn? Yes, he did. The first shot, the blind shot, did hit the Nashorn. Didn't get a direct hit, though. It did 58 hit points. That was the one that he fired blind at that corner, and it did work. Yes, so there was somebody sitting at home. And according to this as well, he did hit an M6 as well for 160. Got to wonder who that one is. Was he sitting on the corner? I think he was sitting on the corner, so he might have been actually splashed. Or it might have been the other way around. It might have been the M6 that was hit with the first round and the Nashorn was hit with the second one. But he did get some shots on the enemy and did hit that Jagdpanther as well, as you saw there. Hit the Jagdpanther for 121. Anyway, great. Thanks very much for sending in these replays. Nice to see somebody getting a 3rd mark on a very difficult to play Arty, the SU-122a, and I do recommend to everyone, even though it's a real bind to play it with that very narrow arc, it is your best hope of getting a 3rd mark on an Arty, other than the AMX13AM, which of course I thoroughly recommend because it's got a 105mm gun, which is very, very accurate and fairly quick firing. It just doesn't generate a whole lot of damage, but it can be a fun one to play. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And of course, please do remember that we're giving all of the revenue from this channel to the Red Cross Ukraine appeal to help the refugees coming out of the war. So please watch as many of our videos as you can, because the more revenue we earn, the more we can send to the Red Cross, and we will provide proof of the amount we've earned and also amount that we've paid to the Red Cross on the What Arty Noobs Facebook page. Thanks for watching.